Yeah, we okay? Well, can we go live now? You stop playing silly buggers? Yeah? Okay. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Hello, greeting, salutation, welcome, and other things. Yes, it is a Sunday. I are back. I are set in top chat rather than live chat. There we go. Sorted. And for some reason I'm still wearing my jacket, which is making me look extremely busty right now. That reason being it's got cold and horrible again, and I put it on to go walk Mary to the car, and I just didn't bother taking it off when I got back. So how has nobody been? Yeah, it's been another week, and something is definitely on the hub. Is it the laptop? Is it the camera? Is it me? We'll go with it was it's the laptop camera sitting on the hub. That's a bit more leveler, I think. Maybe if I just sit at a slight angle, then people will think it's just their screens on the hub. Anyway, so yes, been a week. Been a week of mostly work. I did upload a video. Was it Tuesday? Might have been Monday. I can't remember. Yeah, it was Tuesday. The third part of the tour of Gresson Hall Workhouse Museum. My first actual edited video, I'll have you know. Only because for some reason, and I have no idea why, the GoPro decided to record in portrait mode, or it decided to save in portrait mode rather than landscape. So I had to figure out how to go into the editory thing that came with the new laptop and flip it 90 degrees, which didn't seem to be an easy way to do. So I think we ended up cropping things and resizing things a bit, but got there in the end. That was annoying. It took a lot longer than it should have done. Now I know why people don't like editing. It was a lot easier when you could just get a piece of film and cut and splice it. Work has been work. Did a rescape on the Nanakara Blackwater tank, which is now not Blackwater, but you know, we'll get there again. Yeah, a whole bunch more Anubias came out. It took a lot longer than I wanted it to as well, because there was a lot of gunk in the substrate. And there's still a lot of snails in there. And of course, every time I siphoned a bunch of water out and dirt and gunk out, came dozens of shrimp as well. So we had to sit there for hours going through the water in the sink, getting all the shrimp out before putting it down the drain. Which, yeah, I think in the end I caught about 100 shrimp. Dilly darling, how the devil are you, my dear? Huggles. So yes, so we've rescapified that, and yes, all three Clowniplex are still in there, fat, happy, and sassy. The uh, pass. um, I no idea. I haven't changed anything. It might just be that I'm wearing more black, so the lights, the colours pop a bit more. Or the fact there's, I mean, in real life that's darkish grey, but it's reflective. So whether that's got anything to do with it, at least I know the reflective bits on my cycling jersey work properly. um, yeah, I didn't have a trimmer or clear up or anything. No idea. Let's say the breeder box isn't in there anymore because they're in there. Other than that, in there, along with, and you won't be able to see, I know you're supposed to quarantine new fish on their own, but we have 5 new little friends in there. The one down there is maybe the phone's just being nice for once, possibly. Yes, 5 new little friends, little panda cories, because the price has finally come back down on them again. I don't know what they were like the rest of the world, but in the UK post-COVID, the panda cories got more expensive than Julie's and Stir-Buys. And so whether whoever it was that was just breeding all the panda cories kicked the bucket from the Rona, as it were, or something like that. But yeah, prices come back down on them. So 5 for 20. I've got a couple of plants as well, which are floating about in the leaky shrimp tank. Go restart tonight. Yeah. So yes, a couple of new plants because we've done the rescape in Nanakara tank. So yeah, I wanted it to look a bit different, not just one solid lump of wood and a massive Anubias, or a massive Anubias. So yeah, I think I probably did. I kind of timed it quite well because deliveries weren't coming in, and lots of people were buying fish tanks for something to do in lockdown. And there was suddenly a big demand for things like shrimp and bristlenoses. And suppliers couldn't keep up. I could. That's just going to keep going out, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's where I kind of got my in. Really, was lockdown and people wanting or buying tanks and then wanting fishies and shrimpies and other stuffs, and I had them. And the big importers and whatever couldn't get hold of them. So yes, I became very popular. Less so now, but still make a decent amount of money out of it. But yeah, so I wanted to give Panda Cories a go again. They're going to go in with the Amica Splendens, which means they're on a sand substrate. So I won't get told off for putting them on gravel. So they'll just hoople around in there and do their thing, no Corey about. And I was looking for hopefully some female Nanacaras or a female lemon blue eye or a pair of Pistos or something. Yeah, pygmy Corys are cute. I did have some once and I didn't do particularly well. I think they got starved out by the shrimp in that tank. It possibly what happened. One, so I seem to have that. If I buy groups of fish, they tend to sort of slowly die off until I've got one left, and that one just keeps going and going and going. Like the single solitary ember tetra I have, that has got to be 4 or 5 years old at this point. It's not had any friends for about 3. Well, I think the rest of them kicked the bucket relatively early on, and this one's been going on its own for years now, and doesn't seem bothered at all by it. So yeah, I'm just going to ember about. Yeah, I think I'm running low on Corys in there, because I don't see very many anymore. So whether that's Bert and Ernie have been eating them, I don't know. Oh, there's a baby one now. Hello, baby Corey. Yeah, there were originally like 15 salt and pepper Corys in there and 10 albinos. I think I've got 2 or 3 of the albinos left, and that's about it. So might be time to get some more of them. Something a bit more rooty scooty for the bottom. Because the old bristlies don't tend to do too much. And they sort of sit about and hide, and then come out and have a feed, and then once a month do their thing in the cave, and then go back to not doing much again. But we do have another little spawn of super reds in there again. So we put another 30 or 40 in there. Ricky, how you doing? Good to see you, my friend. And as soon as I mentioned Bristlenose is not really doing anything, I'll point with my lighter. There she is. It's Birdie. Move to Belfast. Oh, good. You've not been kneecapped yet, then? Samuel, darling. I did have to have a good laugh when I saw that El Presidente had a meeting with Governor Newsom, and for some reason was standing at like that kind of an angle. Couldn't don't think he's quite got around. If you've got lifts in your shoes, just because your feet are at an angle doesn't mean the rest of you has to be. Your ankles can bend. Maybe that's his bone spurs. Storm prone. Yeah, you brought AO in with you, did you? Is that it? Well, thankfully here we didn't get it too bad. It was a bit windy on Thursday. It's actually worse today than it was Thursday. Because it's cold, wet, and windy. But yeah, I'll take it. The change in weather is quite noticeable. From India to Northern Ireland, yeah, it's fairly changeable weather. It's and but at least you don't have to worry about snakes. There's no snakes or big cats in Ireland. I think the biggest, most dangerous wild animal in Ireland is probably, I don't know, maybe a badger uh, or an otter. 24 was the low overnight here. We had frost again, so it was below zero, or got to zero at least. Yeah, and don't you go introducing the snakes to Ireland, Ricky. I don't think they do very well. Hey, at least while you're there in June, you can go and watch the Isle of Man TT race. It's because Australians are just Brits, much like Americans are, but oh my God, so will I. Yeah, you're going to be Cincelate gloves, thermal undies, big woolly hat. Yeah, that's a British thing to do. Complain about the weather. It's a culture thing. We have it, uh, and you got to remember. Yes, Australia's hot, but the people who lived there originally came from the UK block, and they came from the UK on wooden sailing ships, and they didn't have a choice in the matter. Might be hot, but so yeah, you're smoking hot deli. Mwah. Gorgeous. Only problem having a still hotel. Yeah, yeah, you can't smoke indoors in any building in the UK other than your own home, if you're lucky. I'm not a colonist, so I don't care. I wasn't going to go with colonist. Something that begins with the C, though, and ends in onvit. Last time I was here was smoking rooms. Yeah, don't get that anymore. It got reduced to smoking rooms, smoke only in designated areas, and now it's you can't smoke indoors. And then, yeah, so there will be a hut or shelter somewhere outside the hotel where everyone goes to smoke, unless you got a posh hotel room that has a balcony, which I wouldn't suggest using. Colonials were the willing participants. You know, I think we called them jailers. Um, but yeah, we love you, Delhi. Ah, We have discovered a new land. Oh, what's it like? Well, it's big, it's hot, and everything here wants to kill you. Righty-ho, we shall call it the new prison. HMP Australia. Yeah, yeah, I can see it being a hassle. I mean, let's say even in the UK now, if you rent a house or rent a flat or a property, some property owners, it will be in the lease that you're not allowed to smoke in the property. Actually, you're a bloody Kiwi, are you? You're a proud sheep shagger. Buying a house 5 more weeks for the searches. Oh, joy. I remember what that was like. Yeah, it's not really something I've ever had to think about because when I didn't own my own house, it wasn't illegal or frowned upon, and the people I lived with smoked. So, yeah, I'm working on the American system of my great 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 grandfather once farted in Northern Ireland, therefore I'm Irish. Live in no smoking apartments. It only applies to cigarettes. So they don't mind getting high off the secondhand smoke. They just don't want to get lung cancer. But yeah, it's. I mean, the laws are the same, but it's like if I walk down the street with a cigarette on the go, I tend not to get dirty looks because I try not to blow my smoke into other people's faces or wave the cigarette towards them, like some people. And you see people walking down the street vaping and big clouds, and people are giving them dirty looks. I walk down the street with this, producing just as big a cloud of smoke as a vapist. Nothing. Not even. I might get a second glance because he's smoking a pipe. It's just, I don't know, it seems more. I don't know how it seems more socially acceptable to smoke more tobacco, but it is. Dad's side's Scottish and mum's Irish, which explains why you're a redhead. You know, non-smoking rooms in hotels, and normally smoke in the toilet because my logic is it's a nice non-smoking room, not a washroom. And guys are here like, yeah, that's 200 quid fine. Jimbo, how you doing, my friend? Been a long time. And yes, I've taken up the pipe. Good for pop, good for pointing at stuff and gesticulating. And when someone asks you a question, you can have a couple of puffs and appear to be considering it. Nothing like smoking a joint on the bathroom. Squirting water up your butt. Yeah, I can imagine that. It's been many, many moons since I smoked one of those, though. How are you anyway, James? All healed up and better now? It's not doomed. I mean, it's not your fault, Adele, that you don't have a soul. Same as it's also not your fault. You're gorgeous. That's good to hear. Good to hear. I was actually looking around on, oh god, cameras doing silly things again. I was actually looking on Google Maps the other day at the old stomping grounds down in Stortford and Sorbo and Stansted, Takeley, that kind of area. My God, is that different? Let's let the camera refocus. Come on, do your thing, Camirara. We're going to have to cover you up again. Bloop. Bloop. And then make sure the face stays out of the shot until the last minute and refocus. Something more. Come on, you knew I couldn't miss that bloody joke. We know you. You got a massive soul. If anyone around here is soulless, it's me. There are reasons I've been kicked out of the majority of modelling groups on Facebook. Yeah, it's weird to see that like my old primary school was still there, and that was falling down when I was there in 1981. Oh, Sam would love to give you his soul, Adele. At least that's what I hear he's calling it these days. Yeah, I was looking at the map of Stortford, and it's like I remember there being like fields and parks down there next to the river. What? I didn't think the library used to be quite that close. And where's the old precinct gone? The old shopping precinct? That doesn't appear to be there anymore either. What? I don't know. At least the old houses I used to live in were still there in my old schools. Although the school hasn't got any playing field left now. Yeah. I definitely couldn't afford to live in Stortford these days, though. Probably couldn't even afford to live in Harlow. I can barely afford to live in Norfolk. Yeah, it's the way things go, isn't it? Things change. No one wants to live in Harlow, in fairness. Yeah, well, I mean, it is Essex. It's basically Southend off sea. As soon as I get to my place, I get reef tanks and dogs. You see, you got to find the good fishy shops in Northern Ireland, and they probably will all be in Belfast. Pardon me. That's happening all over the place. Yeah. They don't build the houses that we need. They build the houses they want to build because they can make more money out of them. Yeah. When you look at the housing market in the UK, the biggest issue with it is house prices, and people can't afford to get onto the housing ladder because it's just too expensive. So, what do you think the answer to that would be? To build small, affordable, one or maybe two bedroom homes that are easy, easy to build, almost prefabricated kind of thing. But no, they won't build them because they don't make the same profit levels. Bake cookies using 0 sugar chocolate cake batter, Cool Whip, and low sugar. Mm. 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 See, I would just have normal full fat cookies and just eat less of them. There's over 100,000 at home. That's cool. Let's build 10 to 20,000 units. Say we fixed it. I want a tiny home on wheels. We call that a caravan. And they get sworn at because they hold up all the traffic on bank holidays, historically. I found 2 shops, got good fish, not coral. That's how. When was the last time I went to Belfast? God. Probably 40 years since I went to Belfast. And I was basically told not to speak because my accent at the time was very, very home counties. Being dragged away. See you later, James. Good to see you too. Have fun and say howdy to the dudes for me. The ones that might still be around that might even remember who I am. It's been so long since I did anything model related on YouTube or Faceache. Last few weeks. No, stay away from northeast and west Belfast. Yeah, stick to the south. Yes. Weird that the closer you get to the Republic of Ireland, the safer it is for a non-Brit. Right. Brits will never be safe in Northern Ireland. Just don't go wearing orange sashes or anything, okay? Or an orange t-shirt, especially in marching season. You'll notice there aren't many Dutch people in Northern Ireland, and that's why. Because the Dutch national colour is orange. Yeah, green will be okay. As long as it's not green and white, because then you'll be thought of as a Celtic fan, and then the Protestants will come after you. Same as if you wear navy blue. And the Roman Catholics will think you're a Rangers fan and come after you. Yes, fan of a football team in a different country. Yeah. I don't mean to paint Northern Ireland in a bad light. It's a lovely place and it's got some lovely people in it, but there's a reason why the Brits aren't particularly welcome there. Bad place for a racist like me. Yes, and the Boston Celtics get their name from Celtic Football Club, which has been around a lot longer than Boston Celtics basketball rounders netball team. Yeah, basketball is netball, isn't it? It's netball with a bit of running in it and bouncing. There's plenty of bouncing in netball as well. That's far more enjoyable bouncing. Howdy, happy. Technically, I'm a racist, but it's only towards the French that it doesn't matter. Yeah, I'm alright, you. Grumbling on and trundling on through life. Same as pretty much every other week. Having a bad hair day on a Sunday because I washed it. and doesn't seem to matter what conditioner I use, it just goes really soft and floofy and uncontrollable. So, baseball cap on. 2 days before surgery. Oh dear. Oh dear. What are they fixing or taking out? There's 2 reasons for surgery. Oh, hip replacement. Oh. Getting sliced open, dislocated, and femur snapped. Didn't mean to put a bad light on it, but yeah, no thank you. Which I don't even know if they could do that on me. I don't even know if they could actually do a hip. Certainly not my right hip. You know exactly what's coming. My hip joints aren't properly formed, the same as most of my lower pelvis isn't properly formed skeletally, before anyone says anything else. The sacroiliac crest, which is the bit that you're supposed to sit on when you're on a bike, otherwise known as your sits bones. Yeah, mine ain't really there. So if I ride a bike where I have to lean forward, like drop bar bike, road bike, I'm not sitting on my sacroiliac crest. I'm sitting on the tops of my femurs. That's really uncomfortable. So to be able to do it, I had to scoot so far forward on the saddle that I'm basically just sitting on my taint. And that's not comfortable. Goal is to ride a bicycle again. Well, it'll be a good one because it's a very low impact on the joints. Unless you fall off, and then it's very high impact. But yeah, that's a good goal. I'll maybe not do the kind of nuts stuff that I do, but you know, each to their own. It takes a special kind of lunatic to choose to cycle 100 miles or longer than some people do. What language is that? English? English. Right, Norfolk, but I think he said something bike. It was a English, bit of Latin. Yeah, basically my pelvic bones and my hips are screwed up. I was born like it. Yeah, I was going to say, have I got you thinking about taints too much, have I, Jim? Ah, yeah. This is the thing. I do speak English, but uh, it's a complete mutt sense rather than an accent. So I've got bits of it left from the Hertfordshire area, bits from Welsh, bits from French, because English, um, Wolverhampton, and Norfolk. The Norfolk is probably a big driver in that, because the Norfolk accent is something most native Brits can struggle to understand a native Norfolk accent. Especially if someone's proper broad Norfolk. And then, yeah, I've got a teenage colleague who I work with. Raining again. Welcome to Northern Ireland. Why do you think it's so green? It's because it's wet. Yeah, I've got teenage colleague who's lived in Norfolk his entire life. He was born here, and we get customers who come in and he can't understand them. Yeah, welcome to the UK. Well, I'm technically in the driest part of the UK, historically speaking. Anyway, um, I'm about as far east as it's possible to be from you and still be in the UK. Let's put it that way. Yeah, good old East Anglia, which is where English comes from, and England was English. America, peace out. How you diddling? Yeah, I'm just southeast of Norwich. Norfolk. I'm in Norfolk, just southeast of Norwich. About 20 minutes by car, 45 minutes by bus, about 2 hours by bike. Is it really? Yeah, because if I stop and have a break halfway, yeah, about 2 hours by bike. Or about 20 minutes by train to the wrong side of the city from where anything I might want to get to is. It's all good. It's all gravy. I like not having lots of hills around. And it means the wind and the rain does howl around quite badly, but when it's not howling with wind, it's quite pleasant. You can see a long way. The sky is very big. We do get people that move to my part of the world, and that's when they realise they suffer from agoraphobia. Especially city folks who are used to growing up with buildings all the way around them. The sky you can only see by doing that. They come out to Norfolk and it's like, there's sky everywhere. It's too big and too open. I'm not going to knock anyone's phobias. We used to take the Greater Anglia train to Cambridge. Cambridge is just about the border of East Anglia. Cambridge, it's Norfolk, Suffolk, depending on how you look at it, Lincolnshire, Cambridgeshire, and we tend to poke Essex with a stick and hope it goes away. Yeah, Norfolk, Suffolk, and Cambridgeshire mainly is East Anglia. Basically, the bits of the country that haven't got a huge amount of Roman presence in them. There's a few Roman roads and a few old forts like Borough Castle, but that's about it. You can tell by the place names. There aren't any cestas or chesters, which is what Roman fortified towns are called. Like Colchester, Cirencester, Worcester, Bicester. Don't know, I hated Cambridge. I think it was better than Belfast. Yeah, Cambridge is, it's known as a university city, but it can be very upper class and a bit posh and stuck up. I did have family out that way at one point. I don't know if they're still there or not, but yeah, there's a very, very, very posh. Go to visit and turn up in a ratty old t-shirt and jeans. And they look at you like, what? Oh, pardon me. Oh, and again, and again, and again. Better places to eat. This place is filled with pubs and bars. Yeah, it's funny that Northern Ireland full of pubs and bars. Yeah, there's good reasons for that. Hey, while you're there, you can go and see the Titanic slipway where it was built. It's still there, I think. I'm sure lots and lots of other historical sites. Just be careful of where they are. Titanic is closed because of the storm. Yeah, probably for the safest, a dry dock right on the estuary. Probably safest to avoid at this time, kind of weather. Game of Thrones, Titanic, and pubs. Do you need more? Sorry. Oh, the Titanic Museum got damaged. It's kind of apt then, isn't it? As long as it weren't by an iceberg. Also, on a similar note, while I was randomly scrolling through Amazon the other week, or the day, I can't remember, I found a block model. It's not Lego, but we'll call it Lego because it's the same thing. It was a model of Titanic with a base with a flipping iceberg. I was like, yeah, I think that might be a bit dark. I actually have a model of Titanic and it comes with an iceberg. Yeah. None of the plastic model kits do, and if anyone was going to do it, I'd put it on one of the plastic kit manufacturers to make an iceberg out of clear parts. Oh dear. Already on fire for Sharpe. Yep. Well, I mean, it's going to be cursed from the start because I think it was two of the riveters actually got trapped in the hull when they were putting it together, and they were still in there when it set sail. They couldn't get them out, so they just riveted them in there. Welcome to your tomb. Match with the kids. Again, wouldn't surprise me. Although you probably, if they still do them, you can probably buy a Titanic kit made of matchsticks. 25 years, and then you can joke about it, i.e. 9/11. What happened on the 9th of November? Right, I've got to go take a whittle. Oh, it's been one of them days. Back in a minute. Oh, that's better. That's better. Exactly. 11.9. Yes. That's why it always comes as a bit of a surprise to me and probably most Brits when people start talking about 9/11 in September, and we're like, "That's 2 months ago." Yeah. Oh no. You're making a koi pond? Yeah, that'll work. Need to look for a frost line. No. They just carp. I can take it. It doesn't matter. All this fuss about koi can't go out in the cold. Speed reading, asking 9/11 people how fast they read. Oh, that's about 100 stories in 17 seconds. Oh, that's a good one. I like that one. But yeah, as koi, frost line. How much do we hate that it's called the pound? Well, because it is. It's not named after the weight measurement. Um, and the fact that we drink pints. And our pints are actually bigger than US pints as well. Same as our gallons are bigger than US gallons. Um, yeah, it doesn't really. I say it don't really bother me at all. But then I'm of the exact age, literally the exact age. I was the last year in school that got taught metric and imperial. So I can convert back and forth in my head pretty easy. We have pint glasses for beer too, yes, but our pint glasses are bigger. Because the UK pint is 568 mil. I think the US pint is something like 520, something like that. So that's a 500 mil can. A 1 pint beer can is like that much taller. Money mostly goes to China. Beer metric system. Yeah, exactly. How does it feel to be one of 3 countries in the world that still uses the imperial system? And even then, it's not the imperial system. It's it's the Americanized material imperial system. That is not your fault. In India, they use both. Yeah, it's because former British colony. Sorry, I apologise for my ancestors. Oh dear. Yeah, it pretty much is. It's only countries that used to be British colonies that will still have some of the imperial system left. We use feet to measure centigrade or Celsius for temperature, but for fevers we use Fahrenheit. That's because It's a lot easier to remember that if the temperature is over 100 with a fever, you've got a problem. Um, yeah, but it's just what we're used to. It, we're just used to having two methods. It works. I'll still measure stuff. Say I'm measuring a piece of wood for cutting I don't know, a shelf, let's say. I might measure it as 1 meter by 4 inches. No, see, we just multicultural. We use either. But people younger than me, like my teenage and 20 something colleagues, they can't do imperial. If someone comes in and asks for an inch and a half plumbing fitting, they're standing there going, friend said, I've got a fever of 40 degrees. How are you alive? Oh, Celsius. Yeah, that's, yeah, we had a new temperature probe thing at work because apparently you have to check that the water out of the hot water tap is hot enough when you wash your hands or do the washing up. And so everyone was like, "Oh yeah, you're healthy. You're healthy. Oh yeah, you're healthy. Put it on me, and it came out at like 17 degrees. What? I'm like, yeah, and that's just the external temperature. Internal's plenty warm enough, thank you. To be fair, I think I'd just been out for a smoke break in shorts and t-shirt in freezing conditions. So yeah, my skin was a bit cold, but gave everyone a bit of shock. Yeah, this is a weird thing. I mean, yes, we have switched to metric, but it just means that things will have two measurements on them because no one says, "Oh, can you grab me 568 mil of milk while you're out?" It'll be like, "Oh, can you grab us a pint of milk?" Because that's how we think. Yeah, but if they're healthy, they'll tell you the temperature in Celsius. It's only if you're unwell and you're running a fever that you'll switch to Fahrenheit. You know how they say in British English is one of the hardest languages to learn because of all the different pronunciations of the same combinations of letters and words that are spelt the same but pronounced differently and all that kind of stuff. It's just general Englishnesses as well. It's why if you want to emigrate and move here, there's a very, very long quiz you have to take and pass. There's actually some videos on YouTube of Americans taking it, getting hold of a copy of it and taking it, just see how well they do. They don't do well. Whether there are any trick questions in there, like what does the UK celebrate on 4th of July? Nothing. Yeah, both countries, regions where you need subtitles. The problem is the subtitle creating bots. They can't do it either. I mean, if you put the closed caption subtitles on my videos or my streams? No. It doesn't work well. Howdy, Elfish and Derek. How you doing? Good to see you both. Hi, everybody. Hi, Dr. Nick. Oh, dear. Yeah. I very nearly got in a lot of trouble at work a few weeks back. We had some Indian customers come in. And I really had to bite my lip hard because when they left, oh boy, it was just, no, don't say it. Think you'll come again. Enable live captions on Craig's stream. You can see real time Google having a meltdown. I can imagine. Who's slanging Slurpees? Exactly. I forget what it was I was talking about a while back, and it started putting something up about Saudi Arabia. I was like, what? I didn't even mention that. That's bogan language. Who needs a plunge tank in tundra weather? Yeah, I think the thing with poor old Craigo is the boganity of his language, and B, there's more gravel in his larynx than there is in half of my tanks. Is it a verb, a noun, or an adjective? Yes, that's English for you. We were minus 16 F here the other night. It was so refreshing. Oh, geez. Yeah, so I was watching one of Girl with the Dogs videos earlier. It was with a cat she was grooming. A very, very spicy cat. Sarcasm, I promise. Oh, I know sarcasm, Jim. Don't worry. Did you go outside and pee and it turned to ice before it hit the floor? Literally went for a tinkle. Yes. There are, yeah. And I watched this is going to sound weird, but a Frenchman reacting to Allo Allo, the English comedy about the French resistance in World War II. Yes, we had a comedy about that. And it picked up the French accent speaking English for the subtitles a lot better than it picks up me. It's just the way it is. YouTube had you behind 5 minutes. It's trying to put you into American. That's all it is. Don't worry. It's got about another 170 years to catch up yet. Maybe even longer, given the way that a certain person is bringing back or trying to bring back empirism. Come on, camera. Behave. Just because I took a swig of drink a bit closer to the camera. Come on, focus. There you go. And I'm not going to copy what Elon did. The fact that the people who try to defend him go, no, he didn't do that. He did it to the people, then to the flag. How much more 1930s Germany can you get? Oh, pardon me. I mean, I'm sorry, America, but the rest of the world is just watching and laughing. When the Danish member of the European Parliament literally says F off to Donald Trump. In uni, academic coordinator was French, biology. Yeah. Yeah, in French, yeah, it would be biologie. Yeah, biologie. Yes. Of course he has. He doesn't want people being smart. Oh, don't worry. I'm not in my French teacher's good books either. She probably still remembers our class. It was us that gave her a nervous breakdown. She had a massive sense of humour failure. We got on a lot better with the replacement. Yes, we were that badly behaved in French class. We gave the French teacher a nervous breakdown. He's my coordinator. That's why I'm worried. I'll just um, buy her some cheese. It's the it's not taking away rights as such as the easy access to information. Because let's be honest, if he could put the children back in the mines tomorrow, he would do. Can't help it's a problem. I'm racist. People should deal with it, else I get offended. Yeah, but I don't really want to get into the details of it all. But things like that should be government level. The state shouldn't be handling things that apply countrywide, in my book. The individual states should be only applying law things to their particular state. Anything that should affect everyone should be governmental from the top. It's just my way of seeing it. Howdy, Rainer, the Squire O Seahorses. Yeah, you have to cater for the majority, not the minority. That's the problem. That's where a lot of the issues that have arisen recently worldwide, not just the US, the UK, Europe, everywhere, is trying to be inclusive of every minority, whether it be ethical, ethnic, gender wise, sexuality wise. Trying to make everyone happy, you just make everyone unhappy. 240 tea bags, all hot and sweaty. I mean, 240 is a box size that you find regularly for tea bags in the UK. I mean, birth control should be available to everyone. Or at least the understanding of how it works. If you're not going to educate people about it properly in school, and the families and parents don't teach it, you've got to learn it somewhere. Yeah, box of tea bags will be in a 240. And the ones we get at work are in 1,000. I mean, I always said that there should be some kind of test and a license you should pass before you're allowed to have children. Um, you know, I know it would never work, but it would stop, or in theory at least, it would stop a lot of the problems of people having children and not knowing how to look after them, not understanding the financial burden that will be theirs for 18 years minimum. But, oh, yes, so you're going to have a child, yes. Well, that means for the next 18 years, you basically have no social life. What? No, you don't get to go out clubbing every weekend anymore. I might have kids, I don't know. But they're over 18 now, so not my problem. And Mary's kids, well, it was Nadine's birthday yesterday, and she turned 21. So, and she's the youngest. I'm not saying I wouldn't help financially if asked or if they wanted, but thankfully they haven't. Sam, behave. That's my stepdaughter you're talking about. And she's very high maintenance. She'd eat you alive. Yeah, it did end a bit bad last time, didn't it? Yeah. Mine a bit of genocide and hundreds of millions dead in total. All because a short, dark-haired Austrian painter decided that tall, blonde-haired, blue-eyed Germans were the ultimate master race. Did he not see the flaw in his thinking? Yeah, she's not broken. That's the problem, Sam. She's a very opinionated young lady. And she farts like I do. The only video of mine she was in, and that's not in person, you couldn't see her. I made sure of that because she was underage at the time. Yeah, yeah, exactly. It was the Flixton Air Museum. I did a bit of a wander about the outside of the. Oh, you don't want those daddy issues. Oh, um, yeah, you hear a sneeze in the background. That's the only time that Nadine has been in any of my videos. And me looking, I think it was the sea vampire, and it's just, she's about 100 feet from me. It's like 33 meters. Charlie Chaplin, but yeah, one man ruined a moustache for all men. No one sees the pencil moustache these days and thinks, oh, Charlie Chaplin. Right up until 1939, that was, it was known as the Charlie Chaplin moustache. Then it became known as the Hitler tash. And yeah, you're not allowed to have one anymore. Although anytime I have grown a beard, when I've shaved it off, the last bit that gets shaved is that bit. I can't resist. Even if it's just to do an Elon to myself in the mirror. That's Austria's point with the left hand. Yes. Or the pipe. Then you can't get accused of being inappropriate. But you can have it, but everyone will hate you for it. There's a comedian, Richard Herring, and for a while he had the Charlie Chaplin moustache because he's a massive Charlie Chaplin fan. And then he stopped being asked to go onto TV quiz shows and panel shows and lost a lot of income. And you know what happened? He shaved it off and got back on TV again. I think they call that a quiet cancel. He ruined the moustache style, the salute, and the symbol. Yes, was it originally a Hindi symbol for peace? I know a completely different part of the world. But I know Finnish fishermen still use it on their boats in blue, but it's squared, not an angle, not at 45 degrees. And the Greeks do as well, I think. So you can have it squared, Hindu symbol in a square. Yeah. Only so much fanaticism you can have before it turns into racism. Look at Southern Confederacy. Yeah. I was actually watching a video this morning about the difference between US and UK patriotism and how American patriotism is very close to nationalism, which is where the problems start. And in Hindu, satanic if you put it the opposite way around. Well, you stick most things back to front and people will call you satanic. Yeah. And model kits of World War II era German tanks and planes and stuff Certain companies will just remove those symbols from the kit, and others will put them in there as 3 or 4 little pieces that you've got put together to create that symbol. In the UK, it's legal and fine. But then if you try posting the pictures of your Messerschmitt BF109 or Focke-Wulf FW190 on Facebook with the historically correct markings as a historical piece, you have to blur it out because otherwise it gets taken down. But the Iron Cross is okay because the Iron Cross existed way before. I think it was a thing where Ian from Forgotten Weapons does historical firearms. Let's call it that. And let's say if he's doing a video on an English firearm, he'll use the English flag in the thumbnail. If he's doing French flag, whatever. Gets to German and he can't use the time appropriate flag, so he has to use the Kriegsmarine logo. Yeah, we've got a whitewash history. Actually, no, whitewashing is what Germany was trying to do in the 30s and 40s, weren't it? Oh, that's a very bad joke. Yeah, I apologise for that one. Oh, Ricky, go get in the shower. Oh, I apologise. Oh dear, we went from birth control onto Nazism. This is not a good look for a stream. Oh. Oh, go on in. This... Oh, this one's going to get demonetized anyway, so go for it. I think it was an African politician who had the same name and had no idea, literally no idea who who he was named after, and neither did his father apparently. Heard the name or saw the name in passing and thought it looked good, so named his son after. I suppose. Yeah. Between him and Pol Pot. Yeah. Oh, what was the Romanian one? Romanian dictator. Not Vlad. Ceausescu? Rings a bell. He weren't a nice person either. Resources, the real freedom fighter who brought freedom, not Gandhi. yeah, Gandhi became the acceptable face of it, didn't he? That was the thing. This is all about the peace and what have you. Oh, I'm trying to remember the old joke. What was it goes? Yeah, I had an Indian butler. Oh, what was his name? Oh, his surname was Kane Jeeves. Oh, really? What was his first name? Mahatma. Mahatma Kane Jeeves. Yeah, that's the one. Nikolai Ceausescu. Yes. And I don't know how far the news went around the world about what was going on there. I mean, even up to what, the 90s? Was it the 90s? The orphanages? That suddenly came to light how horrific they were and were still running. The reason why the person who killed him was called a freedom fighter by the Supreme Court. Yeah, it's yeah, as they say, history is written by the victor, but also by the politicians. It's not until quite a long time later that some of these things do actually come out. But yeah, back in the days of colonialism, everyone was doing bad stuff, and then you had the Soviet era and communism, and that. I mean, in theory, communism is awesome. In practice, it forgets one simple thing: human greed. And you can't get rid of that. Russian work camps, Asian work camps. I mean, yeah, the Japanese. Because everyone knows about Joseph Mengele, the Angel of Death. I can't remember the name of it now. There was a Japanese place as well, which was conducting very similar and in some cases even worse experiments on live human subjects. And they knew what they were doing was wrong because they basically tried to destroy it before any Allied troops got to Japan. They didn't do a very good job of destroying it because they might have destroyed the place, but they didn't manage to get rid of all the paperwork. So that came to light. But yeah, as every nation has done bad stuff historically. It's no one, maybe the Swiss. Yeah, yeah. I mean, that wasn't even that far back. That was the 40s as well, weren't it? And, um, yeah. I mean, let's say these Unit 731. That's the one. Thank you very much, Sam. Um, unless you, of course, just Googled Jap- Japan war crimes World War II. It'd probably pop up then. But yeah, I say every country has done evil, despicable, horrific things. None, none get away with it. Or yeah, well, they might get away with it, but it all comes out in the wash at the end of the day. And the thing is, we have to learn from the history and not repeat the same mistakes. Not understanding how colonialism was a bad thing. Slavery was a bad thing. Not treating everyone equally was a bad thing. having a vice president whose face looks like he was one of the kids on the missing milk cartons back in the 80s, probably a bad thing as well. Yeah, I mean, colonialism in some ways was a boon, but there was so much bad came from it. I mean, yeah, normally because they rebelled against us. They found a common foe to work together against, is usually what happened. Uh, and things like the Treaty of Versailles and eventually World War II and oh, a common foe, yes. The people with the flags and the guns. There's an old Eddie Izzard joke about colonialism. You sail up to a country and go, "Oh, you don't have a flag? We do." Thunk. Yeah, well, cricket's too complex for Americans. Trying to explain cricket to Americans is impossible. The simple fact there's a sport you can play that goes on for 5 days and can still end in a draw. Well, I mean, North America is an island. It has been ever since they put the Panama Canal in. It's surrounded by water. It's a bloody big island. It's a continent-sized island, but it's an island nonetheless. And technically, Norfolk is an island because there are rivers all the way around. The borders of Norfolk are rivers, and they join up. They play baseball. No, it's called rounders. They just had to use a bigger ball and a bigger bat because for some reason they couldn't hit the smaller ball with a smaller bat. East Asia. Cricket is just overcomplicated baseball. Nah, baseball is dumbed down rounders. Baseball and cricket have nothing in common. Bowling in the Australian Kegel game. Earth only has one ocean. Yeah, West Asia, my bad. Yeah, East Asia is Japan and China and Russia. Although Russia isn't the only country that spans two continents, there's quite a few in that part of the world. And it gets regularly debated exactly where the border is. And it gets called Eurasia because where Europe and Asia meet. And they didn't decide to divide the continents according to the outlines of the countries or the borders of the countries. If they'd done that, it'd have been a lot easier. But they decided, yeah, from here across is going to be Asia, from here across is going to be Europe. But there's countries that are half and half. Eurasia, Myasia, Eurasia, Fantasia. Oh, I think we're out of baccy. Where are we? Oh, we've got a little bit left in the bottom of the pipe. So whether the flame will actually reach it. Yeah, baseball comes from rounders. It's a game played with a much smaller ball and a much smaller bat. I think the Middle East is considered Asian because, well, the Nile and the Gulf. Or is it the Red Sea? One of them. Pretty much east of the Suez Canal is considered Asia, I think, in that part of the world. So technically, yeah, Southwest Asia. Uh, yeah, I mean, technically, yes, they would be Asian. However, I wouldn't identify as such. I would identify as Arabic. The Middle East. Yeah. Egyptians are African, but if you literally go the other side of the Nile, it would be Asian. Is it Nile or is it the Suez Canal? I think it might be the Suez Canal. Maybe we should try and claim that back. Oh, no. Don't want to start another world war. Yeah, the Suez Canal, it's nice and yeah, subcontinental or Asian as well. Yeah. I say it's known as the Indian subcontinent, isn't it? So, I mean, India is certainly big enough to be a continent. It's, I think people forget just how large of a landmass that India actually is. And home to the second most dangerous place on the world to visit, which is that little island off the coast where it's illegal to go to because, well, the locals will just kill you. The world is a mess, so let's just unite and make it a bigger mess. Can't wait till China owns it all. It's going to be so much easier. To be honest, I think that's pretty much what they're doing at the moment. They're just sitting back, rubbing their hands and laughing. Let's be honest, pretty much everyone that Donald is upsetting and offending, the Chinese are then going to go, hello, friend, how can we help you? I don't think he quite sees that that's happening. %15 Asian, 20% European, 65% Indian. So I'm a white Asian who looks brown and eats curry. That, as far as I'm aware, that makes you English from Birmingham. Uh, and that is a definite UK-based joke. People not from the UK will not get that. Come to America and you'll be a Mexican. Yeah, you best learn Spanish. I've seen the posts where people claim that Spain isn't a real place. It's just a language. Yeah, well, you know, colonialism, the empire, all that stuff. Yeah, pipe's done. So when you relight the pipe and it's really harsh, and you're like, yeah, I'm just relighting ash at this point. Yeah, that was just all ash that came out. Yes. I saw there was something about posted about Georgia, the country, and it's obviously it is still very Soviet era based, and they made being gay illegal again, and there were Americans going, no, 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 same-sex marriage is legal in Georgia. It's fine in Atlanta. No, no, different continent, my friend. The state is named after a country. Well, also the Georgian period. But Georgian friend, when he's drunk, he's not friendly at all. Yeah. When it comes to sports, they tend to be quite good at the sort of violent things like throwing cannonballs and spears and large discs of metal and lifting heavy weights. I think anyone who's European is just basically a mutt. I mean, I'm English and my family is English as far as I've ever known. But if you look into my DNA, it won't just read Anglo-Saxon. There will be Scandinavian, there'll be French, German, God knows what in it probably. But the basic rule of thumb is if you don't qualify for a passport from somewhere, you're not from there. You don't get to claim it. At least that's how the rest of the world sees it anyway. It's the easy way to look at it. If you don't qualify for a passport from that country, you're not from that country. Which means there's only people born there and people whose parents are from there that qualify. Not grandparents, not uncles, aunts. What's going on my lip? Yes. Grew up in London, so I qualify with the mentality. Yeah. Thing is, the rest of the UK tries to get rid of London. Like, no, no, you can keep that bit. We don't want that bit. What wasn't Austrian in Central Europe? Yeah, true. You go back to the Austro-Hungarian Empire, when even Germans were Austrians, because Germany didn't exist at the time. Yeah, it's the same with big inner cities anywhere. The rich get richer, the poor get poorer, and crime happens. As if the poor are rich enough, or not rich enough, if the poor have enough, they don't need to then go committing crimes to get enough. Weird that, isn't it? Just saying. Anyway, I think I'm going to call it a bit early today because I need something to eat again. Although I did remember to eat breakfast today. That's why the English aren't allowed to have pistols. Well, yeah, we had a school shooting, so we banned them. Was it a school shooting? Or was it? No, it was Dunblane, weren't it? Yeah, we had one mass shooting with a pistol, and we basically banned them because that's how you stop it from happening. No, not completely out of tobacco. I mean, I'm out of drink, pipe's finished, and I'm hungry. Yeah, hour and 50 minutes. Gone by fairly rapidly. See, when we're having a good natter, time goes quick because I can just roll with the flow of the chat. When there aren't many people here and I've got to try and lead the chat, I soon run out of things to talk about. And that's when we end up on some really weird subjects and tangents. But anywho, thanks to you all for showing up and for taking part, and I hope you had a bit of fun. Stay safe, everybody. Have fun. Peace out. Rock on. Bye bye. And yes, at some point I will cut my nails. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Sunday shop do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Monday suck do 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 do. Monday.